Hello and welcome to Chess Please. Now, most chess teachers will tell you that bringing your queen out in the opening stage of the game is a mistake, and they would be 100% right. But that advice can be a little bit counterintuitive to newer players, who maybe don't see why you wouldn't bring your best, most powerful piece, the queen, into the action as early as possible, cause a bit of havoc, gobble up a few pieces early on and win the game. And at the very introductory levels of chess, that is the case. Queens often run absolute riot and win the game very early on. So this video I'm going to show you why you shouldn't bring your queen out early on and what to do, how to punish your opponent if they do so, with a very illustrative game that I played this week. Let's jump in. So this is from a blitz game I played this week. We're playing as black. I'm not as sharp on blitz as I am on rapid, so this is in the 1400 rating range, but the principles hold true. Now, our opponent starts in fine fashion, a Nimzovich-Larsen attack. This is what this is called. They bring their bishop out, fianchetto their bishop, and this is a lovely strong piece to have for the rest of the game. All going well so far. We're clearing out a bit of space to get our own pieces developed. Maybe could be a little bit more proactive ourselves, but again, this is blitz, so we're making a lot of quick decisions that maybe aren't the best. Few unnecessary pawn moves by both of us, and then all of a sudden, our opponent brings their queen out. And alarm bells are ringing for me for two senses. The first one being, are they trying to scholars mate me? Is there some sort of goofy attack that I missed that they're going to be able to get checkmate in one or two moves? In this case, I have a quick scan, and the only other piece that's like impacting the game is here, and the queen isn't really pointing at that. And oftentimes what you can miss as well is these like lateral attacks by the queen, but this is defended. So I really don't see the point in this. So once that alarm bell is quenched and I see that I'm not in any immediate danger, the second alarm bell is a much more positive green glowing light that says, okay, now that that's not dangerous, maybe we can start to use that early queen mishap to our advantage. Now, the reasons you don't bring out your queen early are because it is your strongest piece, and that means that it can be bullied around easily, because I know that no matter what, my opponent really doesn't want to give away their queen. So any attack on a queen or any proposed trade for one of my minor pieces for their queen is going to be unconscionable for my opponent. And that means I can develop with tempo. So that means that I can bring out my pieces for free, basically, or like not at a cost of time, because that's going to mean that they'll have to react with their queen as I bring out my pieces, and we can bring out more and more pieces while jerking this queen around, basically. So the first one we do is we bring our knight out here to f6, and as I say, we develop with tempo. They have to respond to this before they can make any sort of further development in their position. They could potentially take here with the bishop, but again, that just lets our queen in, hits their rook, loses their fianchetto bishop. That's not a great idea either. So moving the queen, already not a great conscionable move that they want to make, but they have to because they brought it out early. They move it there, and I could have really pressed the issue here, and the computer likes if I just bring out my bishop here, and that's another kind of move with tempo. We're threatening some discoveries. If we move the knight away, the queen is again threatened. We don't do that. We kind of break our own rule. Guilty. And we develop our knight again, or not develop, we move our knight again, and actually offer a trade of queens. So this is just not a good move by me. That's fine. Our opponent doesn't spot it, and then we actually get the benefit of once again developing with tempo. So despite a bit of a brain fart on my own behalf, we're back on the saddle here, where we just get to push this queen around while getting our pieces into the action. A lovely best of both worlds kind of Miley Cyrus vibe. So the queen has to move again, and we're allowed to just grab some space in the middle. This pawn move looks pretty dumb because this square is attacked 3 times, but again, because they have their queen out, we just know that we've stolen time off them. We've stolen a go off them, basically. And we can move that pawn for free, knowing that we're opening up this bishop with tempo once again. Queen can't take. And queen is actually starting to run out of squares here, so it's getting a little hairy. They block with that pawn there. Another mistake where we maybe don't prioritize what we should have done. I was kind of afraid of this bishop. I just thought it was a very active piece. And this also has the benefit of locking this knight in a little bit, and I feel like this is very well defended here. So that was my intention. Wasn't right. Blitz game, hands up. They take here, we get castled. We take there, bit of exchange, bit of mucking around in the centre, nobody playing particularly well. And another thing that has resulted in their early queen move is a lot of those kind of suboptimal pawn moves that they made in order to defend their queen or get their queen a few more squares to go to have left their king wide open, as well as all of the moves that they've used in moving their queen away while we've been getting their pieces out. Their pieces are stuck at home, their king is stuck in the middle, they haven't castled. So all of those time gains we've used to create a very strong king. Probably could have developed a little cleaner ourselves, but to be honest, we had like $ eyes just looking for that queen, and to be honest, it's paid fruit. So we get a check here, a pretty devastating check. There really isn't a lot of great places. King has to shuffle forward. Knight comes in here. This is just a fork on the rook and the queen, protected by the bishop. Bishop is protected by the queen. We're absolutely completely like infiltrated into their position. This is looking really grim for white already. Queen tucks back. We don't even need to take here, or take the rook I should say. We can finally complete our development with check. Again, a nice little tempo move, and we're really looking at checkmate here. The king is on his last legs here. King shuffles away. We bring our queen into the mix. Now it's fine. Now it's fine to bring our queen in because we've completed our development. We're very concretely on like the checkmating attack side of things, and all of our pieces are well developed. King shuffles back here, and we get a nice little knight checkmate, a double checkmate, where we shuffle the knight in here, obviously double checked here. Fun fact about double checks: the king always has to move. You can never block a double check with another piece. The king has to move, because we have our bishop here crisscrossing and our queen here, it's curtains. So that is a very dramatic example of why you don't bring your queen out in the opening, because it's going to get bullied around while your opponent is developing their pieces at the cost of your time, or in this case at the cost of our opponent's time. So when your opponent brings their queen out, start developing your pieces with tempo, or look for ways to develop with tempo, i.e. develop them into spots that are threatening the queen. And that's basically a free move. Use that free move to jerk the queen around a little and just sort of generally push on up the board. And while you're doing that, they can't spend time developing their own pieces because the queen threat is just always there. So this is like the most indicative example of why you shouldn't bring your queen out early. Now, one I will say is there is an attack. There are some openings where you do bring the queen out early. One of which is called the wayward queen attack, and that goes a little something like this. So I think you go e4, e5, and then it's like an immediate h5 by the queen. It's just absolute mayhem, but like Magnus Carlsen and Hikaru Nakamura have played this over the board, and it's an okay attack. It's not completely debunked, but with very few exceptions, you are not Hikaru Nakamura or Magnus Carlsen, and you have not studied the 30-40 line deep prep that they have. So I would caution against it, and in general, caution against moving your queen out early. Hope that all makes sense. Thanks for watching. Feel free to stick around and subscribe. It would make my day. And enjoy your chess. All the best.